Cody, you needed a comeback tonight. You needed to get the job done, but that was beyond a comeback. You were relentless.
Yeah, I think the stadium helped a lot. We knew we had to come back from the 1-0 behind. So we went out there and just tried to create as much chances as possible. And then with the quality we have, we know we're going to get big chances and hopefully score. So that happened, and very good performance I think from the whole team, and great win.
You talk about the stadium, you could just feel it went up more than a notch tonight, knockout.
Yeah, no, they were fantastic like always, but they helped us a lot today, and it gives us extra energy every time, again and again, and we are very happy with this club, with these fans.
Very happy with the season as well. I spoke to you right at the start of the season, and you were talking about how you wanted, as a team, as a club, to win everything this season. You're already in one final. How achievable is the rest?
Yeah, we are on the right track, but it's we have to take it game by game, step by step. So today, good job done. So we are in one final, but we have a lot to play for still, and we have to stay calm and focus to reach as much as possible.
I know that, but everything just seems to be falling into place for you.
Yeah, we are in a good flow at the moment, but we have to keep going. So you know how football goes. It's about consistency, and we have to keep the momentum.
I know what you can see what's coming next, and it's been a while since we did this. We did it a lot last season because you won it a lot last season.
No, I didn't win it. I always gave it away.
You always gave it away between you and Curtis, but this is your very own semi-final player of the match, Cody. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you.
Yes.
Very nice. Cody Gakpo, the player of the match. Plenty more reaction to come over the next hour or so. We're down to the final two for the
Virgil, as a team, you were absolutely on it tonight, weren't you? I know you needed that comeback, but it was a comeback and then some.
Yeah, you need a complete performance. I still think at halftime we could get a level up in terms of the intensity and put them even more under pressure, and that's what I've said as well. But to win here like we did tonight is great for the team, for the club, and now we focus on the FA Cup. But obviously we're very pleased to go to Wembley again.
You say that and talk about intensity, but the intensity was there right from the very off. How much more could you or have wanted to get out of it?
Well, listen, I think you wanted to start obviously with loads of intensity, and I think the game got interrupted a couple of times in the first half, so it ruins a little bit of momentum that was there. But we still did it now and then. But I felt like we could do a little bit more and make it even more uncomfortable for them, because obviously we know that they have the quality to play out, or they want to play through the middle, and they have these patterns and stuff. And if you bring the intensity to the game, then anyone can make mistakes. And I think the second half we did that, and a beautiful win today.
In fairness, it's like as if you just squeezed the life out of them. You suffocated them.
Well, that's what we try to do each and every game. But listen, nights like this, where there's a lot of things at stake. Obviously, going to a final again, we don't take that for granted. I wanted to go there. We all wanted to go there again with the fans, and it was a great team performance, and really enjoyed it.
Can I ask you about Mo's penalty? That was like picture perfect, wasn't it?
Yeah, outstanding. I think no goalkeeper would have saved that. Obviously, very important, clinical, and important again.
And you yourself getting in on the act, just like you did in the final last year, winning the Carabao Cup, lifting the Carabao Cup, and getting on the score sheet to send you on your way there again tonight.
Yeah, listen, it's always a proud moment to be on the score sheet and be important for the group. And finally, obviously, it's a lot of work going on behind the scenes to try be more clinical in front of goal with corners, set pieces, etc. And it's never always that easy. But today, I finally could have scored a goal again.
Is it fair to say that this season couldn't be going any better? I mentioned to Cody Gakpo, as he was player of the match, that everything just seems to be falling into place, the targets you want to achieve as a group of players.
Well, we're in February now, and there's
It sets you up nicely, though, doesn't it?
Obviously, we can't complain about the situation we're in, and we won't. But the main thing is we should not take any of that for granted. We should keep working each and every day for it, and don't be easy on each other. And I don't see any of that happening because I will be on top of it with the managers as well. But it's about just staying calm, work our socks off, try to show our quality, defend with everything that we have as a team, and focus on ourselves. And I think that's the main thing. Just don't worry about others. And I think that's the only key to success this season, because you can only influence what we do and not what others do. So let's go for it, enjoy it, and we'll see.
The future in terms of yourselves, though, and yourself as well, it just looks so good this season, doesn't it?
Well, the only thing I'm focusing on is the game ahead of me, and I'm feeling good. I think everyone can see that. And what the future brings at the moment, I've got no idea. So anyone who says they know it, they are absolutely wrong. But we'll see what happens.
It brings a final, for sure.
Well, that's definitely on the schedule. So we'll focus on that when the time is there. Now we focus on the FA Cup on the weekend. That's a quick turnaround as well. But we have to be ready for that as well.
Good stuff. Enjoy your evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Liverpool in his first final with the club.
Arne, would that be fair to say it was your biggest night at Anfield so far this season?
Because it results to a final, yes, maybe. But I think we had some big nights here already with Leverkusen, with City, with Madrid, and probably I forget a few. But yeah, to reach a final should always be special, and that is also what it is. So yeah, in that perspective, it's been the most special evening.
To reach a final as well early in the season is something that you're not used to, are you, as a coach, as a manager?
No, in Holland we only have one cup competition, and that final is played in the end of the season. So yeah, that's a new experience, but it's a nice one to have. It's a special stadium for English people, but also for Dutch people, because we know the history of that stadium and the history of a final as well, of a League Cup final. So I'm very pleased to go there, but we also know that we are going to face a very, very tough opponent, because I saw them yesterday and I saw them this season. We already played them once. They're a very good team, but they're going to face a very good team as well.
You're also defending champions, though, going into that final against Newcastle. Talking to Virgil van Dijk, he was saying that could have done a little bit better in the first half. He talked about a little bit more intensity, but watching that performance tonight, it was just wave after wave of pressure.
Yeah, but I agree with him.
So picky.
But we also have to take into account that in the first half there were many injury moments. So it's difficult to get intensity in the game when there are so many injury moments. Players are on the floor needing treatment. But we controlled the game really well. I think it took them for 80 minutes before they had their first shot on target. And we were finding gaps in their last line more and more and more. So it was a very good performance from our side.
And how do you keep that work rate going? Because people talk about this competition and how it can set you up for the run-in that obviously you are at this moment in time involved in as well. But for all the other competitions that you're involved in?
Yeah, there are many games to be played, but we were lucky, or maybe not lucky, it was out of quality that we were already qualified after 6 games in the Champions League. So the 7th game we could already rotate a bit and give players rest at half-time. The 8th game we didn't play many of them. So we are still able to rotate. I said yesterday, this is a league where you play the most games, but you're only able to take 20 players and not 23. I want to add to that if you can take 23, you also take more academy players to the game. So if there was an opportunity today for 23 players, I would have taken 1 or 2 academy players, and they probably would have come in as well. So that's an extra reason for me to say here in England, why don't we go to 23? Because then academy players gets more chances as well. But maybe that's not the moment to talk about that now.
Although you did say in the build-up to this, in your press conference yesterday, that you think when you can't take the amount of players that you want to, that's the hardest decision that you have to make.
It is, because if you play so many games, you can't do it with 20 players, so you need more players, and we are in a fortunate situation that we have more than 20 players fit. But that's one side of the story. The other side is that if a club like us should always have 20, 21, 22 first team players, and then behind it there are academy players, and if we are able to take more than 20 players to the game, then I think academy players get more chances as well for playing time, because a game like today would have been an ideal moment to give them some playing time. So it's something to think about, but it's not the first thing that comes to my mind at this moment.
Obviously not. Something to think about for the weekend, though? In another cup competition you've got coming up?
Yeah, away game on Sunday, and 3 days later, of course, it's a big game again. So, yeah, there's only one, I would say, downside to us reaching the final, and that is that we have to play Villa during the week. But yeah, being successful creates even more games, and that's why we've trained them to play many games. So that's not talk negative about it. It's a positive thing, because I think players like to play games. They get stronger, in my opinion, by playing games, and that's also what you see at the moment with us.
Try and enjoy it for at least a moment tonight.
I will. Thank you.
Taking it all in his stride. Yes, they were due to play Villa in the Premier League the weekend of the Carabao Cup final, so that obviously has to get rescheduled. Champions League last 16 is the week leading up to the Carabao Cup final as well, so they've got that. Newcastle, if you just want to know the other dates as well, Newcastle come here at the end of February as well, so just to paint the picture of everything that's going on, plus the derby next week.
Yeah, this could be a really, really special season for Liverpool, and they've been in this situation where the 4 trophies are still available at this stage of the season. I think twice in the last 3 or 4 years under Jurgen Klopp, and they come away with 2 Carabao Cups and an FA Cup. They didn't win the big ones under Klopp, so they won. You know, they lost the Champions League final, they lost to City later on in the last game of the season, and last season they just won the Carabao and missed out on the league. The most important thing is to win the big trophies, and the 2 biggest ones are the league and the Champions League. Now, they're in a great position with a final. They'll probably go into that game as favourites. But this has the potential to be an amazing season. But when you talk about next week in the Merseyside derby,
we've got a new sporting
that is the biggest
well.
game of the season.
Right, let's see what our coach is going to do with this group of players. I think Chiesa is the only outfield player they've signed in 3.
For about 2 months. You know, they are the gap with us and the game in
transfer
hand.
window.
The game in hand is next
he's
week.
brought in
If
really just
if Mo Salah misses a game and touch wood, don't say that. Liverpool don't do that. And they Liverpool win that, they are they're almost got one hand on the trophy. A 9-point lead with, what are we talking, maybe 13, 14 games to play that he's got. And a huge league. They're not managers now, the coaches, especially Arne right now, as coach. The final, and a big thing of what he's done win next week, what he's done with Gravenberch and what he's done with Gakpo. With Gakpo now, I think he's the best left side of the attack. I don't think many people I don't think there's anyone performing better than him. Jurgen Klopp used to use him centrally, almost trying to make him the new Firmino, if you like. And I was a bit like with Jamie when he first came in.
Is it very different game in hand than it was when it was the actual game in December, isn't it? I mean, a lot of things have changed.
Things have changed, but it's always difficult. It's always difficult going to Everton, and they are always a tough side. But it's the biggest game, like James says, because it's the game in hand. You want to make sure you capitalise on it, make it count. And you're talking about all the games they've got to play. This game's getting moved, that game's getting moved. That's the price of success, and that's what you want at a club like Liverpool. You know, they're in a fantastic position. Everything is looking so good for them. Can they capitalise on it? Can they do something unprecedented and win 4 trophies? Personally, I think you're never going to get a better chance. I genuinely mean that. I think they're in such a strong position. I think with teams that they've made, you know, obviously Man City aren't really in the equation this season. The level in the Champions League hasn't been as high. And Liverpool right now, Jamie said it, the best team in Europe, arguably the best team in the world right now. But things can change really quickly. It only takes 1 or 2 injuries to just maybe destabilise that. But right now, they will look at it and it's almost beyond his wildest dreams. When he come here, after following someone like Jurgen Klopp, he was just hoping it would go well. You know, maybe my personally, as a Liverpool fan, thinking, probably take top 4, maybe nick a cup. But for him to do what he's done this season is absolutely phenomenal. And I love the way he talks. He never gets too excited. He says it as it is. He talks a lot of common sense. You can tell he's a student of the game, but he's been magnificent.
Let's very quickly, the 3 of you, just look ahead to that final. As I say, Newcastle come here at the end of February. They drew 3-3 at St James's Park earlier this season. How do you see the final, which is still admittedly a month away?
Yeah, there's a lot of football still to be played before then. Form can change for both teams. I think Newcastle will have had the experience what they had when they lost to Manchester United. They've been there. They know how that felt. But I mean, Liverpool will be going into, at this moment in time, into the final of favourites. Of course it will, because they're the top of the Premier League, the way they're playing. But I mean, Eddie Howe and that Newcastle team, you saw what they did last night. It'll certainly be a final I'll be tuning into.
I can't wait. We've spoken a lot about Virgil, but there is one player that Virgil can have problems with, and that's Alexander Isak.
Particularly on what we saw last night.
Everyone has problems with Isak,
Yeah.
but that will be an absolute blockbuster. Those two up against each other. Midfield of Newcastle are incredibly strong. I thought Eddie Howe was magnificent today. You know, there's no way he'd have brought his Newcastle team and they'd have sat off Liverpool if it was the opposite, you know, and they're in that position. So I think it's going to be a perfect final. It's going to be great. Two of the best fan bases in English football. The noise is going to be phenomenal. It's a final we all can't wait to see.
I think Liverpool will win.